I've got good things to say about this update. I've got bad things to say about this update. I've got controversial things to say about this update. Like the new player reward calendar that nobody's gonna get that's currently watching this video. As always, I'm gonna be 100% honest with my thoughts, whether you like it, or Supercell likes it, or nobody likes it. Afterwards, I'll rate the update from 1 to 10, starting off with something a little controversial. And that is the vision gear being reworked from the resistance gear, okay? First of all, I don't think too many people actually dislike the vision gear. Yeah, the resistance gear had some pretty niche situations where it was actually useful, and the vision gear also isn't the best compared to the other gears, at least for most brawlers, but I think the vision gear is much easier to balance, and it is much more useful on more maps and on more brawlers, which is why I generally like this change. And also, like, you can specifically craft it for a brawler who that vision gear is good for, as opposed to the resistance gear, which you had to craft on all of your brawlers in case you happen to face off against specific brawlers. So like, it makes more sense. What I dislike about this change is the way that Supercell went about this. Specifically, they just swapped the existing resistance gears with vision gears without actually refunding us any tokens or scrap. This might not sound like a big deal because a lot of players probably didn't build up their resistance gears, but if you did, you probably got screwed. The really unfortunate thing about this change is that the vision gear is pretty much useless on any brawler that you would have wanted the resistance gear on. El Primo, Rosa, Daryl, BB, Edgar, Mortis, Buzz, all of these brawlers would really benefit from the resistance gear because they were most likely to be up close and personal with the enemy brawlers, and having resistance to stun and slows and things like that was useful for them. The vision gear is pretty much useless on these brawlers, okay? When is El Primo going to use the vision gear? When would BB or Edgar or Mortis or Buzz? Like, it makes so little sense to have a vision gear on them, and yet if you crafted any resistance gears for them, well, congratulations, they're now, you wasted your scrap and you wasted your tokens on brawlers who the vision gear is useless on. And because gear tokens are the limiting factor in how much gear you can craft, players had to put their resistance tokens somewhere, right? And so they probably put it on brawlers where it made the most sense to actually like benefit them. And that means if you put any thought into how you're going to craft all of your gears for all of your brawlers on your across your entire account, congratulations, you have vision gears on brawlers where they're just useless. And the unfortunate thing about this is that this has happened before. I'm talking about when the health gear was reworked. It was originally best on brawlers with low HP, and then it got reworked to be the best on brawlers with high HP. Okay? Oh my goodness, like the first time it wasn't that big of a deal because HP is HP and it's going to be useful most of the time, but still. I think if Supercell is going to make big reworks to gears, they need to refund the scrap and the tokens that were required to craft those gears so that players can actually recraft those gears for brawlers that they're actually useful for. I'm not talking about when Supercell like does balance changes, like they buff a stat or they nerf a stat or something like that. Like if they're just going to rebalance some of the gears, then they can just do that. That's fine with me. But if the gear is fundamentally going to work differently, I think a refund should happen every single time. And yeah, that's going to be annoying for Supercell to have to do, but players have spent tons of time and money to invest for their gears, and I think that Supercell should honor that time and money by letting us reinvest them how we would like. Now, this wouldn't be a big issue if Supercell reworked gears how I outlined in my 100% honest update review of the gear update. Then again, a lot of the issues that we have with gears wouldn't be an issue if Supercell did that. But that's a topic for another video. For now, I just want to say that I am glad that Supercell reworked the resistance gear. Is clearly the worst out of all of them, and it was fundamentally just backwards on how I feel like the gear should have worked. Also, I like the vision gear. I do think it needs some buffs, maybe some small changes to it, or like, you know, just some improvements to it. Like the level 1 vision gear is just like, I don't know, it's pretty useless. Level 3 even isn't that great. I don't know, but you guys let me know what you think about it. Mostly this change just has me pretty disappointed. It's been almost 6 months since the gears update, and Supercell shows no signs of completely reworking the gear system. I mean, maybe they're still going to. Maybe it requires 7 or 8 months. I think it's pretty clear the community was not happy with gears, and I'm surprised that we haven't seen a big change to it. One thing I'm not disappointed in are the improvements to quests that we got. Re-rolling quests, guys. Oh my word, it is so amazing. I don't know about you guys, but my least favorite quest to get was to win a large number of matches for certain brawlers. Not all the brawlers. Some brawlers I'm like, okay, cool, that brawler's really good. I'm gonna do that. That's just not a problem. But then there are other brawlers that are just annoying, or brawlers that only fit in like a specific map or mode and don't work for the maps that are currently active on that day. And I absolutely love that if I re-roll a quest to win 8 matches with Penny, the new quest won't involve Penny at all, and it won't require me to win a certain number of matches with any brawler. The only downside is the fact that people without the Brawl Pass can only do it once per week, which I feel like is pretty small, but being able to roll 3 per week with the Brawl Pass honestly feels pretty good and pretty balanced. Personally, I'd like Supercell to give free-to-play players 2 free rolls per week and Brawl Pass players 4 rolls per week. Either way though, I really like this change since it allows players to take a little bit more control into their progression. One issue it doesn't address are players like me who would rather just play Power League than ladder. I know Power League isn't for everybody, but I just really love it. I only have so much time I can play every day. I've talked about this a lot in previous videos and I'm not gonna rehash everything, but it would be so awesome if there were some way to complete quests while playing Power League. Technically, yes, if I got a quest to play Penny, I could pick Penny in Power League, okay? But she's only good on a few maps, and even then, she's really not that good. And she's actually not too hard to counter either if I like pick her first or something like that. Similarly, if I happen to get a quest for Bounty, then it's very unlikely that Bounty's going to pop up in Power League very often. Here's a quick thing I think Supercell should do. They should make it so that if you win a match in Power League, you can choose a quest to put some progression towards, okay? Or honestly, I don't even care if you get to choose. Maybe it just randomly assigns a quest and puts some progression toward it. I really don't even feel like I need the choice. I just want my Power League matches to go towards some sort of actual account progression rather than just cosmetics. Because as much as I like Power League, taking the time to play it just doesn't feel worth it right now, except for the skins. I mean, I like the cosmetics. I mean, maybe Supercell does it just like that, except that it only goes towards quests after you've unlocked all the cosmetics for that season. If that were to happen, we'd be talking. I know it sounds like a lot of grinding. That's my favorite kind of grind. But you know what does feel worth it? Subscribing and supporting my channel. I'm trying to reach 1 million subscribers by the end of this year, and I really appreciate you guys' support. Okay, we can't talk about the quest reworks without talking about the new quests. You know, pass the ball 24 times in Brawl Ball. In fact, I like most of these quests except for just that one. That one sucks. I don't know about you guys, okay? Unless you have a couple of friends who are willing to just like pass the ball back and forth between you, it's just not practical, okay? I am really glad that Supercell's trying out new things for the quests, and for the most part, I think that they're pretty good additions to the game. And another good addition is all players being able to make a ban in Power League. 6 total bans every time. Oh yes! It means that every player gets a say in which brawlers they don't want to face, and it usually means that the brawlers who are clearly overpowered won't ruin the competitive meta in Power League. Plus, it allows Supercell to put maps like Snake Prairie into the game because there's less of an advantage of getting that first pick. I have really enjoyed playing Power League after this update, and I just can't wait until they add more features like the ability to suggest brawlers to our teammates, which they said that they're working on. Now let's talk about Janet and Bonnie, and then we'll cover the new cosmetics. Janet and Bonnie are such great additions to the game for a lot of reasons, and I think the community is, I mean, they're really enjoying them, okay? They fit incredibly well with Stu, and I love the whole lore aspect of Stu being their adoptive father. That's right, Stu is their dad. I think we know what happened to their real father. He didn't use Kairos in the Brawl Stars shop. The only way to protect you from Star Park. I really like the new environment, and the stunt show makes a lot of sense for the game, so like the whole lore aspect of it, Bonnie and Janet are fantastic. But on top of that, we have their mechanics. They're both very unique and unlike any other brawler in the game, and I'm kind of surprised that Supercell made Bonnie an epic brawler. Like, she's really unique. I would have been fine with them I would have been fine with them justifying her being a legendary, but I could have understood that. If they saved her for a legendary, like that would have made sense to me. So serious props to the team for those 2 new brawlers, and I really appreciate them releasing 2 brawlers in a single update. I mean, as a content creator, that's some of the best content I can release, and so I really like that. Even just as a regular player, having new brawlers makes the game really fresh and exciting. Now let's talk about sprays and the new profile pins. Monetization. I like sprays, and I like them in the game. They're a nice addition. They haven't annoyed me yet. However, I will say that probably a lot of people don't have a bunch of sprays. And a big reason for that is that as a player who actually spends money in the game, I think they're pretty overpriced, okay? At the current rate that I'm seeing them in the shop, it looks like they're about $2.50 for a single spray, which just isn't worth it in my personal opinion. I do think it's really important that I disclose to you guys though that I did buy them, but my career is all about creating Brawl Stars content, so it makes sense for me to buy them even though I don't think they're worth it. And yes, I think that they're overpriced, and if you agree with me, that's fine. Just don't buy them. I'm sure we're gonna get plenty of free sprays via special events and challenges and all sorts of things like that in the future. I'll get to the monetization aspect in a little bit, but first of all, I wish that sprays worked a little differently. I don't love the fact that they just stay on the map permanently, and I think it would be a really cool interactive thing if Supercell made it so that like other players could remove enemy sprays or even friendly sprays just by spinning on top of them, like almost like you're cleaning up the mess that they left behind and rubbing it in their face after you push them back or take them out, right? I could see that being kind of like a little fun fun, like back and forth between brawlers. That'd be cool. But mostly, I wish the players had an opportunity to mute sprays for 2 reasons. First of all, sprays can have a really short cooldown and can become annoying pretty quickly, okay? Players should be able to play the game without feeling like they're being harassed, and that goes for any type of gameplay, right? But specifically, pins and sprays. There's a reason why I wanted pins to be able to come into the game muted, first of all, and that's why Supercell did it. There's just no reason why I could see a possible benefit from not being able to mute sprays, other than the fact that the people that actually spent the money to buy sprays wouldn't be able to like show them off. But come on, that's just a ridiculous excuse. The second reason why I think they should be mutable is the fact that sprays kind of look a little messy. And if a player wants to play on a clean map, I think they should be able to. I don't even think that Supercell needs to add a new button. Chances are if somebody doesn't want to see enemy emotes, then they also probably don't want to see sprays. So like muting them both with the same button makes perfect sense to me. What about the new purchasable profile icons? I like the new profile icons, and I can't see a single reason why they shouldn't be added exactly as they are, okay? It seems like Brawl Stars is trying to figure out more and more ways for them to monetize the game, and as long as they don't make the game more pay to win, gears, or disruptive to other people's gameplay, unmutable sprays, I'm completely fine with that, and I really enjoy the extra cosmetics. Sorry, something's in my system. I don't know what it is. I've seen a lot of people like commenting on the subreddit. They're like, what's going on with Supercell trying to like monetize even more and more? And you know, honestly, I think that that's just a positive thing for them to do in the game, because there are players like me who want to support the game financially and who are able to, and it makes sense for them to do so because they like the game, they enjoy the cosmetics that are in there. And I don't see anything predatory with like paying for cosmetics and stuff like that, just so long as it doesn't like impact like the balance between the free-to-play players and the people that are actually spending a lot of money in the game. Which I'm thinking about doing another video on gears. I know my video was like an hour long, but I still have a lot of thoughts. Let's move on though. We'll talk about bot drop, and then we'll cover the most controversial thing in this update, the new player login calendar. Okay, I've been seeing a lot of feedback from people saying that they don't like bot drop, and it shocks me. It honestly does. I have been loving bot drop. It is a little bit of a struggle, a back and forth pay. It's kind of tricky and difficult, but I really love the game mode. I really do. I genuinely love it. There's a lot of strategy that goes into every play, and I'm not saying that I like it as much as duels and siege, which are 2 of my favorite game modes. Maybe I just like unpopular game modes. I don't know. Either way, I really appreciate Supercell adding new temporary game modes into the game pretty much every season. Yeah, maybe not every single one of them is a crowd favorite like Showdown or Brawl Ball, but they're trying new things. They're willing to test things out for us and let us have some fun playing some game modes that may or may not end up being like a new crowd favorite, like Knockout was. And I didn't really get to talk about this after the previous update because I didn't have time to do a 100% honest update review, but it looks like they're doing almost exactly what I suggested 2 updates ago. They're creating a new game mode with every season, and the ones that are relatively popular return as special events. Since they've removed Siege, we've had Siege come back as an event, we've had Basket Brawl and Duels come back. Sometimes they're just available for 1 day, sometimes they come back in actual challenges. And after bot drop is no longer available, I'm sure that we'll see it come back every now and then as well, as long as like the community actually enjoys it. I think this is amazing game design, and I think it's fantastic at keeping the game fun and exciting, especially for when people get tired of the current rotations in game modes. My one big hope though is that they'll eventually add the most popular game modes to friendly matches, just like Sieges. I think one of the reasons not to add them into friendly battles is the fact that if they're always available, then people just aren't going to like try it out. But in order for you to play them, you have to be able to play with your friends, and there's no way for you to play these game modes with your friends and like experiment with new and fun things. And so like, I don't see why Supercell shouldn't allow us to be able to just play with our friends, create content around it. I just think it's better for the game overall if these temporary game modes become available for friendly battles sometime, at least the more popular ones. Okay, new player calendar rewards, and we'll rate this update from 1 to 10. I want to start this off by saying that I think that this reward system is a fantastic idea for new players. It gives them a little bit of taste of like cosmetics like skins and pins, and more importantly, it rewards them for coming back to the game. If you're a long-term player and you think this does not affect you, you are very wrong, okay? It doesn't matter how good endgame content is for a game. If new players aren't getting interested into the game, it will only lead to that game dying, okay? Because if new players don't make it to mid game and then eventually make it to end game, then the current end game players will face each other over and over and over again, and as they lose interest in the game, then the game will just feel stale, and then people will, the game will die. So I'm really glad that Brawl Stars is thinking about new players and how to help them get into the game, and is adding features like this. In fact, I think they should do even more to make progression faster for new players, even when it comes to this calendar reward system. As it is right now, players will only get all the rewards if they log in every single day for 15 days. If they miss a single day, they miss out on all of the future login rewards. And honestly, in my opinion, I think the calendar rewards should just be 15 days total, not 15 consecutive days, okay? So if you miss a day, no big deal. Come back the day afterward and the progression will just continue. As someone who doesn't have a whole lot of free time and who actually tries out a lot of new games, like I get a lot of sponsorships that will reach out to me and say, hey, we want to try a game, and I'll try it out. And I'm like, this is garbage. I'm not gonna post this on my video. We'll pay you to do it. And I'm like, I don't care how much you're gonna pay me to do it. I'm not going to share this game unless I actually enjoy playing it. That's not really the point. The point is that I've tried a lot of new games, and as somebody who doesn't have a whole lot of time, I think it is way too much for a game to ask me to log in every single day for 15 days just after I downloaded it. In fact, I think it might actually prevent me from playing the game. If I got a week and a half into the rewards, had a busy day, had something going on, and missed one day only to find out that I missed out on the remaining rewards like a free epic brawler because I just missed one day and just didn't have time that one day, I'd be pretty upset. And depending on how much I was enjoying the game, that may or may not be the reason I quit the game. Especially because the rewards are insane. We're talking 2 free brawlers, a full set of pins on one of them, 2 free skins, a level 9 with a free star power and gadget equipped on them. Like, that's crazy for a new player. And that is going to be a big advantage for at least one of their brawlers, which is like, it's really cool. In fact, the fact that it's so good is a big reason why a lot of the current players are kind of upset about this. Now, I don't think too many players are upset about the free power 9 brawler or the gadget and star power. I think what most people are upset about are the free cosmetics, okay? Do you know how long it takes for a player to get every pin in the game if you buy every pin pack every weekend? It took me a year and a few months, okay? That means that it will take several decades for free-to-play players to unlock every pin for every brawler. Like, pins are incredibly rare for a lot of players, so I don't blame the community for being so upset about having new players have access to like pins and skins for free. Now, I've seen some people bring up the argument that this isn't a big deal, specifically because new players are never going to get the free rewards that long-term players have had. And in my opinion, I think that's a pretty inconsiderate way to look at things. Yes, new players will never get as many free cosmetics that current players have, but long-term players got free cosmetics for being players when those events were happening. They were rewarded for the time that they spent on the game then, and new players weren't playing back then. I think that's just fair. Now, perhaps Supercell could add some sort of feature into the game where you have legacy rewards, where eventually after players have been playing for a long period of time, then they are able to access those long-term skins and pins and stuff like that. But even then, I don't know if that's exactly what Supercell should do. But when Supercell gives all new players cosmetic rewards that many active players don't have, it makes those players feel like Supercell doesn't value or appreciate the time and dedication that those long-term players have shown to the game. And I think that's completely valid. Now, it might sound like I'm making a much bigger deal about this than I really need to, and to an extent, I do think that you're right, okay? I'm just trying to put things into perspective on behalf of the players who are upset about this. Either way, it doesn't really, I mean, I have all the pins and I have all of the skins, so it's not that big of a deal to me specifically. And I honestly think that it's great for new players to get new cosmetics for free, even though I already own them all, right? It doesn't devalue the fact that I bought the skin or the pin. Like, I bought that skin and pin because I wanted that skin or pin, not because it was more rare than like what other people had, right? What I'm upset about is that I feel like Supercell missed out on an opportunity to go above and beyond what other game developers do. Supercell is known for making better games. They're known for being better to work with as a content creator. They're known for having an outstanding work environment and treating their employees better and more fairly than others. They're even known for being more environmentally conscious while other companies couldn't care less. Supercell is simply known for just being better. And I think I speak for a lot of people when I say that we as players expect them to treat us better because of it. I expect them to think about things like this before the community is upset about them. I expect them to do things that makes their customers feel valued even when doing so is complicated or hard to do or even expensive. Not because we deserve it, like, don't get me wrong, Supercell doesn't owe us anything as players. I expect them to take care of their bottom line and make sure that their games are profitable, otherwise they can't continue making content. But I expect them to prioritize gameplay and player experience more than profits, because that's what it means to just be better. The reason why I'm upset is because Supercell missed out on an opportunity to show that they have excellent customer service. All they had to do was give everybody an option for a free pin and skin. I'm not disappointed that I already bought the cosmetics or current players don't have them. I'm disappointed because I expected Supercell to be better, and in this case, like, I just don't think they were. I'm not saying Supercell was bad. They did a good thing. They did a good thing. It was good. It just wasn't better, okay? And yeah, I know that was a little heavy, right? All of this over a few skins and pins, Kairos. Like, what? Come on, what are you doing? You're talking about like customer service experience and stuff like that. Yeah. I'm in this weird situation where I feel overly invested in Brawl Stars because my ability to provide for my family depends on its success and my ability to, you know, you guys' interest in the game on YouTube. So yeah, you'll have to bear with me if I'm being a little overly dramatic. So what do I think Supercell should do? I really like the idea of a login calendar a lot. Like, I really like it. I think they should do something similar for all players, but on a different scale. I'm thinking of a monthly calendar with rewards every day throughout the month, and most of the daily rewards would be pretty small, okay? Maybe honestly, they could even remove like the tokens from tapping on the new game modes every day. Overall, I'd like more rewards than we're currently getting. After all, the game is a lot more expensive to play and max out than it was just a year ago. But they could also just do something simple like token doublers on other days. Or maybe they could add gold doublers into the game and offer them as a simple login reward. At the end of each week, there could be a bigger reward, but only if you logged in every single day of that week. I'm not saying that you miss out on rewards for the entire month if you miss one day. It's just that if you want to get the prize for the end of the week, you have to log in every single day, and I think that would be fair. Maybe it could be like a stack of wildcard power points one weekend, or a bunch of scrap another weekend, and then we come to this point where they add a free pin once a month, or maybe even a free skin in the game. Maybe they even add a legacy skin into the game that players got for free a long time ago that you know, is now added to the game. And obviously if you already have the reward, then you get like a mega box or something like that, or maybe even less. I don't know. I'm not going to pretend to know how this would impact the game's like overall economy. That's something that it seems like, you know, the developers like to throw out there on Twitter and stuff after an update comes out, and people are like, oh, I want more rewards, and they're like, game economy, and you're like, oh, I'm supposed to feel like I understand what that means. No, I don't. I just play the game. I know how things feel. If they feel good, then I like them. If they don't feel good, then I don't like them. But I think that this would benefit player retention if Supercell did more rewards for people just simply logging in every day. Either way, I like this idea, and it's pretty clear from the community feedback that they would like more rewards for playing. Go figure, just in case you didn't know that players wanted more rewards for free. They do. But specifically the calendar, people seem to enjoy the calendar from the community. So I think that's a good idea that all players should be able to enjoy. Okay, let's recap my thoughts and rate this on 1 to 10. This was a weird update for me, okay? On one hand, Supercell reworked the resistance gear and made it into something that I like. On the other hand, I don't like how they went about it. And I think that we can all agree that we were hoping for a much bigger rework to the whole gear system rather than just a single gear. I really like the sprays that Supercell added into the game, but I think that they're too expensive, and I think that you should be able to mute them. I really love the improvements to quests, but I wish Supercell had taken a step further to allow for quest progression in Club League. Then again, Brawl Stars added some great improvements to Power League, while not including anything that would make Club League feel less grindy, which I haven't really talked about in this video, but I have a feeling you guys know what I'm talking about. Brawl Stars added a new calendar reward system for new players, which I'm a big fan of, and at the same time completely missed out on an opportunity to show their current players that they were thought of as well. So there's a negative opinion for every positive that I mentioned, but I do think the positives are a little bit bigger than the negatives. But then we got Janet and Bonnie, who seem to be community favorites no matter how you look at them. We also got Bot Drop, which I personally really like, even if it's not your favorite mode. You've got to admit, Supercell's trying new game modes, which is pretty awesome. And I didn't even talk about like the new bumper tile, the second gadgets, the rework to Surge, and all the balance changes, which I think Supercell did a pretty good job with for the most part. Right? Balance changes are weird, right? And they're doing their best, which, just to be clear, I think is actually really good. Overall, we got more content in this update than we normally do, and I'm generally pretty happy with most of the content, even though some of that comes with some flaws. If a 10 is the best and a 1 is the worst, I know that's backwards, it's flipped for you guys, but I think that this update deserves like a 7 or an 8, and like right at 7.5. I think that's fair. Now, if this update came with a complete rework to gears like I was really hoping for, then I would have given it a 10, even with its flaws. But once again, maybe I should talk about that in a future video. If you would like me to do that in another video, please let me know in the comment section below, and also feel free to share your personal thoughts on this update. I really do want to know what your honest thoughts are as well. Make sure you subscribe for future content and check out my current content right here. And also, you like that? Also, please use code Kairos in Brawl Stars shop to show your support. For now, this is KairosTime ticking by, and we will see you in Brawl Stars.